Hello everyone, hola, merhaba, annyeonghaseyo, and welcome back to Michaela Learns Languages. I am a little bit sick today, so you can probably hear the congestion, but we're going on with the video anyways. Today we're talking about how to overcome fear or nervousness about speaking your target language. This is something that I have struggled with a lot and still struggle with at times. So here's some of my language backstory so you understand where I'm coming from with my advice today. So I have always been a pretty shy person, especially when I was a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I actually enjoy talking to people, but when I was a kid, I really didn't talk that much. And even when I started learning Spanish in high school, I was still pretty shy, although I was getting gradually better at that point. But I was definitely shy and a perfectionist. So when I started learning Spanish in high school, I felt like my Spanish needed to be perfect before I could speak to anyone. And I would make excuses to myself like, my grammar needs to be better, my vocabulary needs to be bigger, I just need a little bit more time, and then I'll actually speak to someone in Spanish. Now I'm pretty comfortable with speaking Spanish, but unfortunately, at least for me, this is something that I have to get over with each new language that I learn. It's not like you can just be cured of your fear once and then it's gone forever. Even in Spanish, there's times when, especially when I make a mistake, that fear kind of comes back for a brief instant, but it goes away quickly, especially with Spanish. Now, I'm having this same kind of struggle right now with Korean, and I'm going to follow these exact same steps. In fact, I'm in the middle of following these exact same steps that I'm about to give you. But here's the steps that I followed to become more comfortable in Spanish, and this is what I'm also doing to become more comfortable in Korean. And don't worry, this is perfect for introverts. You don't even have to speak to another person at the very beginning. We're going to get there, but we start off easy. So step one is, as you're learning, you're going to read everything out loud. If you're going through a textbook, any example sentences, anything that is in your target language, you are going to read it out loud. If you're studying flashcards, you're going to say all of the words out loud. And on my flashcards, I like to have an example sentence with the word. I think it's really helpful to see it in context, and I encourage you to do the same. If you're studying vocabulary, do flashcards with the word and an example sentence. Say both out loud. Now, you can just read, or you can take it one step further and actually try to memorize some sentences. This is especially good if you have an example dialogue in your learning materials. Try to memorize the dialogue and speak it like you're speaking to someone. Now, at this stage, you can also do shadowing practice. So either find videos on YouTube that are on your level, or maybe the course materials that you're working with have videos with them also. But how I do this is I watch the video through one time, I look up any words that I don't know, I write them down, and then I go through the video again and pausing after each sentence or two and try to say it after the person and say it like the person in the video says it. And then, once you've learned it, try to watch the whole video through and say everything as the person is saying it. Step 2, you're going to write in your target language. Writing and speaking are both output activities, so you have to have the knowledge in your brain to either speak or to put on paper. The good thing about writing is it gives you more time to think. So if you're struggling with some grammar or you can't think of a word, you have time to either think about it for a little bit or you can look it up. And writing is also a really good way to see where the gaps in your knowledge are, to see which words you didn't know or which grammar structures you weren't familiar with yet. And that can give you some really good guidance on what to study next. but also it just gets you more comfortable with outputting the language without the time pressure that there is with speaking. Step 3 is to record yourself speaking. So you can just do this on your voice notes app on your phone, and you absolutely do not have to let anyone listen to these voice notes. This can just be for your own study, but you can also post it on somewhere like YouTube. There are definitely pros and cons to doing that, but again, just like with writing, you have time to think about what you're saying. You can re-record it, you can edit it if you're posting it online, and it may actually help you with some confidence if you choose to post things online, but just be aware that you do open yourself up to negative comments when you post things online. If you think that is going to hurt your confidence more than it's going to help, definitely steer clear of posting it anywhere. Step 4 is to find a tutor. Now, you can do this at any point in the process. You can get a tutor from day one, and I actually recommend finding a tutor pretty early on in your language learning journey. However, if you're feeling nervous about talking to a tutor, definitely do those other steps first. The great thing about having a tutor is they are not there to judge you. Their job is literally to help you get better at the language and to correct your mistakes. Never feel embarrassed when your tutor corrects a mistake. They're just trying to help and they are not judging you. Now, years ago, before I was taking language lessons online with tutors, I would have been so nervous to book a lesson with a tutor. And if you're sitting there thinking, I could never book a lesson with a tutor, that is so scary. Believe me, I was there once too, but I am so thankful now that I booked that first lesson and I started talking with a tutor, because it is so good for your confidence in your speaking abilities. So please just trust me on this one. If you have the money to spend to get a language tutor, please go do it. You will not regret it. And step 5 is to talk to everyone. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, don't be afraid to start talking to people in your target language. Now, I'm not saying that you're never going to feel nervous again to speak your target language, because you will. But the goal here is not to never feel nervous again. The goal is to not let your fear stop you from enjoying using your target language. So I hope these tips are helpful to you, and if you have any of your own tips, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to read them. And I will see you next time. Bye!